Welcome everybody to the Fanmouth Daily Fantasy Baseball Breakdown for Tuesday, June the 24th. I'm Joe Marsh. I'm here all by myself, but don't worry too much. I got some good stuff for you today. Going to go through all the positions, going to tell you my plays, got a big slate of games. I have some really good plays for you. So starting at pitcher, for me the top overall play today is Kazmir. You look over his last 5 starts, he's given up a total of 5 earned runs, averaging less than 5 hits allowed over that span. He's pitching well on the road, just under 9 Ks per 9 innings, and he's facing the Mets, not a very good hitting team, especially at home. They're last in the league in hitting at home, even worse than the Padres, hitting .217 at home. So I think that makes Kazmir a very strong play today. Now, for me, Kershaw is probably on the tip of everyone's tongue. But he's coming off a no-hitter, and we've seen pitchers struggle in the past coming off a no-hitter. So I'm going to go ahead and pass on Kershaw, especially against the Royals, who are hitting well. I don't think he's a great play today. A couple other choices you can go with. I think Arrieta against the Reds is a good choice. I think Hudson against the Padres is a good choice. He's coming off a rough start, but again, that's a bit of an outlying performance for me. I wouldn't look too much into that. Prior to that game, he had a 1.81 ERA. And he's facing the Padres, who hit well against Kane last night, but they're still only hitting 174 in the month of June. So I think Kazmir and Hudson makes a good pairing. The other way you can go, there's a guy who's very badly underpriced, and that's Heaney of the Marlins. Pitched very well in his first start, yet he's still at the minimum price for a pitcher. I think he can improve on strikeouts. He only had a few strikeouts in his first start. I think he can even, pitch better than that. He had about 12 fantasy points in his first game. I think he can get you in the 15 fantasy point range tonight at $6,000. That makes him an absolute steal. Now, do you need to go that cheap at pitcher? I'm not sure, but if you want to get some, Tulowitzki, Aramis Ramirez, Mike Trout in your lineup, Heaney's a very good option at pitcher today. Moving back behind the plate, couple good options. Devin Mesoraco's on fire right now. Also like Yan Gomes, he's 7 for his last 17, hitting well against lefties. And the Cleveland's facing Wade Miley, who's got a 5.40 ERA at home. It's a very good hitter's park. He leads the league in home runs allowed to right-handed batters. So if you want to get a couple Indians right-handers in your lineup today, I think that's an outstanding play. And then moving over to first base, where the real team to stack is, and that's the Tigers today. They're facing Colby Lewis, who has a 7.42 ERA at home. Cabrera's hitting .351 with 11 home runs against righties. He's an outstanding play today. And then the other spot to go is you got Victor Martinez. Don't forget him when you're filling out your utility spot. Hitting .302 with 14 home runs against righties. Again, Lewis gives up, hits to lefties and righties. He's not getting really anybody out this year. Hasn't pitched well in Texas, so get plenty of Tigers in your lineup today. You can go Cabrera and Martinez in your utility spot. If you want to go a little cheaper, a guy who's really underpriced right now is Pierce of the Orioles. He's got 11 hits his last 6 games, 7 RBIs, and 6 runs over that span. He's hitting out of his mind right now. I wanted to use him yesterday, but I was a little scared off because he was facing Sale. And he still, did have a hit last night. Hitting .308 against left-handers, so that's 3 good options at first base. Again, if you want to go with someone like Heaney, I think that opens you up to have Cabrera and Victor Martinez in your lineup if you want to go that route. Second base, couple great plays. Jose Altuve's on fire right now. 13 for his last 24, hitting .400 in the month of June. He has been hitting very well against right-handers lately. Wasn't hitting them that well in the first part of the season, but he's brought his average up to .300 against right-handers, so he's a solid play. And then you've got Jeanette as well. 18 for his last 42. He's got 11 runs scored over that span. Hits great against righties, hitting .335. Also hitting .351 at home. So a lot of good stuff there with Jeanette. Again, price is gonna determine that. If you have money to spend, Altuve. If not, Jeanette is a perfectly acceptable replacement. At third and short yesterday, I talked about Ramirez and Tulowitzki. Neither one did much yesterday. I still like them pretty much in the same situation. Now, Ramirez has another pretty tough pitching matchup. so he's not the best play. Tulowitzki, he's at home. I think he's always a solid play there. But I'll give you the cheaper options as well if you want to go away from those two. Carlos Santana has been hitting great for Cleveland. Got hits in 8 of his last 9 games, 4 home runs over his last 9. Again, can't go wrong with a right-hander against Wade Miley tonight. And then if you want to go cheap shortstop, Danny Santana hitting much better from the right side, 414. The way he's been hitting lately, I think he's a great play as well. And then moving over to the outfield, got some, very hot hitters. Michael Brantley's having an outstanding June, somebody you have to consider. It's a lefty-lefty matchup, but he does hit lefties pretty well. He's also hitting 391 in June. Adam Jones is a guy you've got to get in there when there's a lefty on the mound. He hits 410 against lefties. They're facing Quintana, who is, decent, but gives up, a fairly decent average. The reason I like him over Nelson Cruz is Quintana doesn't really give up a lot of home runs. So again, I'd rather have the guy who's going to get me a couple more hits if there's not going to be a home run. I like Trout. Trout's hitting the ball well lately as well. And then I'll give you a couple cheap options. Gregory Polanco, again, had another hit yesterday. He was didn't have a hit in the game before, but that was like the first time all season, so he's back on track, scored a run. He's still way too cheap for the way he's producing and the floor that he gives you. And then the real big play of the day, I think, for a cheap guy is JD Martinez. He's got a hit in 12 straight games with 4 home runs over that span, hitting 395 against right-handers. And again, facing Colby Lewis, you're going to want to stack Tigers today. So Martinez is another one to get in there. That pretty much wraps up all the positions. So again, I'll kind of go over. I think Kazmir is the top pitching play. I think there's some good places to save money. I think Heaney, very underpriced. Steve Pearce is underpriced. Jeanette is underpriced. Jeanette's priced about right, but he's still a good play. Again, and then JD Martinez and Gregor Polanco are good cheap outfielders. And then from there, you can afford the guys that you really want to play. Miguel Cabrera, Victor Martinez, Troy Tulowitzki. If you want to put Mike Trout in there, those are all good plays as well. So I think that's sort of how I'm going to build my lineup today. I'm really going to have to talk myself out of Heaney if I don't want to go with him. I think the value is just too good on him. That wraps us up for today. Plenty of other stuff on the blog. You can check out blog.fanmouth.com. Also follow us on Twitter @PlayFanmouth. I will be back on Thursday. Thank you very much.